thought I'd share my sewing experience and my sewing journey with you. So as a fashion designer, I didn't know at the age of 8 years old that my soul of being a fashion designer was really like urging to come out to sew. At that age, I didn't know about, studying to become a fashion designer. I wanted to be a model. I wanted to be a fashionista. Even back then, there was no YouTube, there was no selfies, no cell phones, etc. I didn't know anybody that were seamstresses. I didn't understand the production of clothing in shops, etc. I just knew that it was something that I absolutely enjoyed because it gave me so much more confidence and it made me feel so good about myself to make my own garments and to wear my own design. I mean, that feeling was just absolutely uplifting. Then, of course, the shopping came afterwards, which was going to fabric stores and to go and buy fabrics and haberdasheries. I mean, that is absolutely addictive. But I always realized that I was working on a little budget, that I had to go with a plan. So whatever I was making, I knew that I had to get what I needed for that particular project. And of course, I would go over those boundaries and buy some other fabrics and trims as well, because the creativity in me just completely got carried away. But anyway, I was all about, being more focused and planned on doing one little garment at a time. So I always thought that I'll end up becoming an artist or a lawyer, and sewing would just be maybe a hobby for myself. But life turned. At the age of 15, I fell pregnant. And I thought, well, there goes varsity, there goes studying. What am I going to do? And I actually approached a fashion designing college. And at the age of 17, I actually went to fashion design college and I became a fashion designer. And they did not teach the students how to sew. They taught you how to do fashion illustration, how to follow the fashion trends, fashion history, how to draft different patterns, to do your grading, to prep for fashion shows, but nothing about sewing. So thank goodness I had a little bit of sewing experience so I could sew my own garments for the fashion shows that we were doing, or I'd pay a seamstress to sew for me, and I would watch how she would sew the garments that I could learn. I would even go to boutiques and go and either buy a garment or take it on Apro back then, and I would have a look at the garment, scrutinize it, how it was put together, so I could actually learn how to sew this garment. Because back then, like I said, there was no YouTube. We can actually go and see how garments are made, different tailoring techniques, and the only way I would know how to sew was to go through a book, which had lots of tutorial pictures, but not live tutorials we can actually watch like we have got the privilege today. With my own sewing experience and becoming a fashion designer and working for top clothing companies in South Africa, I would spend a lot of time with the seamstresses and see how they would sew the garments so that I could learn the construction of the garment as well as with my pattern making. Combining that knowledge together helped me to become a better pattern maker, a better fashion designer, and also to do collections, to know exactly what was possible with my designs in my mind as well as the designs in the actual pattern that would go into production. When I employed my own seamstresses, I could actually show my seamstresses how to sew and what to do, what not to do, and how to sew certain different techniques for different types of fabrics, because I had the expertise and the knowledge. And believe me, this didn't come overnight. This was practice after practice. So you need to learn how to sew different types of patterns, different techniques, and just step out of your comfort zones and try them. It's okay to make mistakes, because when you make mistakes, you learn. Believe me, when you do make a mistake in sewing, you won't do it again in a hurry, because you've learned hours of unpicking and time that you wasted where you could have made an entire new garment. Believe me, you're learning through your mistakes. At 19, I started my first collection while I was still working for my first job, my first designing job. This was a sideline collection that I had started. So my sewing from 8 years old, 11 years old, and progressing as I was going through learning different techniques. I'd refashion my garments, I would recycle them. And back then, this was all things I just did out of my own because I had the creativity and the passion to learn to sew. I always knew that I was different to most people. because I didn't always like what was in the shops. I'd always question everything. I'd always want to change everything. I always wanted to try and wear things differently to other people, and I always wanted to experiment. So I knew that I was kind of different to other people, and I thought, okay, that's fine. I'm comfortable with who I am and how I want to absolutely rock my style and, be a trendsetter, because that is who I was from the age of 5 already, trying on different outfits. Every hour I put a new outfit on and come and parade with in front of my parents to show them off my new look that I had. So it was something absolutely in me. But if it's not in you, it's something that you can learn to grow by achieving and obtaining new knowledge through having a look at Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube channels, follow different trends that you can discover your own personal style as well. I really like to express who I am through the way that I dress. So, me being a designer, as well as someone that can sew or giving it to a seamstress to sew for me, it is about expressing myself through my own personal style. And I find that the shops and other designers that are bringing in collections into in the shops, that is their taste and their styles for that particular season and their trend that they are following. Now, it might suit certain people, it might suit me, that particular trend for that particular season, it might not. But I like to express myself through the way that I dress and that my colors, my designs, my fits. So when I'm making either using a commercial pattern or my own pattern, I am creating styles and designs that is who I am as part of my personality. And it makes me feel so much more confident because I'm wearing clothes that is authentic to who I am. So when you are sewing your own wardrobe or clothes for a specific part in your lifestyle, you are creating, clothing with your perception and your ideas brought into that pattern, the different colors and fabrics and finishing offs that you are learning to bring through your own particular look. It absolutely boosts your self image because you are making clothes that suit your body shape, your body style, your body proportions. And step out of your own comfort zones and try different looks, try different necklines, try different sleeves, different lengths, different combinations of materials, and make them up and see how you feel about them. Learning to sew it's a journey. Sewing is not easy. If I think back at the beginning of my sewing career, if I can call it a career, I can remember the absolute frustration of not knowing how to put certain garments together, or the frustration of having to unpick because I did it completely wrong. I don't know what I was thinking because I didn't know, but it was the perseverance that I just saw it through. I went through lots and lots of books. I bought lots of sewing books, and I would actually go through the book and learn how to sew, follow all the steps, which nowadays you can follow on a YouTube tutorial, which will make your life so much easier, and you'll pick it up a lot quicker by actually visually watching how to put a garment together. Fast forwarding, okay, so at around about the age of 30, well, at 26, I actually resigned from the company I was working for, one of the top designing companies in South Africa. I also had a position where I was a designer doing Nike collection for men and boys, which was very exciting. So fast forward a little bit further on. So at the age of about 26, I started my own business. So I resigned from the companies I was working for and started my own business. I actually extended in my own property and I got myself a couple of seamstresses and I started my own collection. But designed and made clothes for people there was a niche in the market for. I was focusing on a collection for women that were petite for corporate wear. Because back then, women wore a lot of corporate style clothing and formal. I also focused on very tall women that were struggling to find suits that would fit them with their very long legs and long arms. So that was kind of my niche, the beginning of my career working for myself as an entrepreneur full time. And then I realized that it's just not exciting for me. I needed something a little bit more creative. And I went into bridal wear and I basically bought a property on a main road, which was so exciting to actually, well, after listening to Robert Kiyosaki and all this motivation about, becoming working wiser and being an entrepreneur that is successful, how to go forward. So anyway, I bought a property and I opened up a very big boutique, which most of it was my own designs and stock. Plus I imported with my design studio with seamstress or two working for me. And I actually extended onto that. And I opened up a beauty salon. I opened up a hair salon. A day spa as well as a weight loss clinic as well, all combining with my bridal boutique, which was absolutely amazing. I did lots of evening wear as well. So it was very exciting. I loved it. Obviously, I burnt out. It was just too much for me. I was just doing too many things. I think I am just an absolute workaholic, but you've got to have work-life balance. Anyway, so that is kind of where it went to and where I am right now, from writing books about how to start your own business, to turn sewing into a career, how to think like an entrepreneur as a fashion boss, and all the things that that I think are questions that young fashion designer students ask, or someone who wanted to take their sewing to the next level. I've written books and courses around this to guide you and show you, to give you information and guidance that I never had when I started. And through all the mistakes and lessons that cost me dearly, I've put that all together to make it go a lot quicker and smoother for you. So that is how it's progressed. Plus, I'm teaching designing as well. And very soon I'll have my own online school. A tremendous amount of work going into this, but it's falling into place. I'm very excited about that. So what's happened is all the years of my experience, I'm now basically giving back and sharing and teaching, which is so exciting. If you were inspired and you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up and share and subscribe for more sewing for beginners as well as for those who turn it into a business. I thank you so much. Until next time, this is Tania Sutherland at Stitching Studio.